There's one simple thing that separates successful people from unsuccessful. It's like an invisible line, and it's not what you would expect. It isn't based on education, money, connections, power, family. It's something that's available to everyone, and you may not even know what it is. So you say, how is it that I know this answer? And I can tell you, I'm a patent attorney who's helped launch over 1,000 companies. There are very few people in the world that have my depth of experience in launching new companies. And I've watched firsthand, hundreds and hundreds of times, people launching companies and going on to be incredibly successful, making hundreds of millions of dollars, while the vast majority of people fail. So what is this one secret thing that everyone needs to learn? The answer is action. It's really that simple, action. It's the one word that you need to know, that you need to repeat to yourself. You need to make it part of your very personality. Action, 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 not thinking. Now, I'm going to talk about this in more detail, specifically in the realm of invention, and going from inventing a new product, having an idea, to making it a successful, profitable company, or a successful, profitable licensed patent property. But this general concept applies throughout the entire world. From every kind of endeavor, business, personal, relationship. It's really an all-inclusive thing. So let's imagine you just had a great idea. And at the beginning, there is an important beginning of the process where thinking is what's required. You need to and a lot of times it's not even thinking so much as just recognizing what's in front of you. A product that you really love, but it's got a huge problem with it. It's some service that you want that is not being done correctly or giving you the results that you want. It can be almost anything. And there is going to be this step one where thinking is involved. But like they say, it's only 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. And this is exactly what they're talking about. The thinking process, the part needs to be very short. I would say literally within hours or at the very least days. You should be going immediately to action. Now, whenever you're starting a new endeavor, especially one that you're not familiar with, one of the absolute keys to much faster and more reliable success is to find a good mentor that can help guide you, or a good expert. So in the field of invention, I would say stop watching this video. The very first thing that you should do is to immediately take action, call a patent attorney, and just start the process, get their advice, listen to their advice. I can't tell you how many times it's so incredibly frustrating for people to hire me, pay me thousands of dollars, and then ignore my advice. It's absurd. If you were trying to learn basketball, you would go or hire LeBron James if you could, and you as sure as heck would listen and do exactly what he said. You wouldn't say, oh, this is the way LeBron does it, but I've got these other ideas. And no. You get yourself a good, experienced expert that already is a professional in that area, and you simply do exactly what they tell you to do. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, and there's usually a lot more that goes into a lot of decisions than you could possibly know. The advice I give my clients on inventing is based on almost 30 years of experience. I've seen it hundreds and hundreds and thousands of times, and I know exactly how things are going to play out in the long run. Now, this is where a lot of people fall into a trap, the thinking trap. I almost have a dislike of thinking, because even though I acknowledge that there is a small amount of it that's required, the overwhelming majority of inventors think way too much. They think, they plan, they refine, they're on their 10th iteration of the idea. And obviously, to some extent, this has to happen, but they just think and think. I've had people come back for years filing patent after patent, and every time they come back, I'll ask, how many have you sold? Oh, I haven't done that yet. I filed a patent for someone almost 2 years ago, and I was talking to them again, and I said, hey, how's it going? What kind of progress are you making? Oh, I'm not going to actually do anything until I have the patent. I mean, just one excuse after another for not taking action. Overthinking, overprocessing, over prototype after prototype, improvement after improvement. You need to get through that immediately and immediately start taking action. So I would say, like I said, step one, right now, as soon as you finish watching this video, call a patent attorney and schedule time to go talk to him. A great way to find a patent attorney is through referral. So find someone who's already very successful with their inventions and ask them who their patent attorney is. Ask them who their corporate attorney is and their CPA. Just copy everything that they do. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. Just find an expert who's already successful and do exactly what they say. Use their same team, get them to take them to lunch and have them give you some tips on how to proceed. But it should be action-based. As soon as you have your team, the patent attorney is immediately going to start with doing the patent research. You don't want to go down the road of developing something only to find out years later that it's already been done or that someone already has a patent on it. So just right away, that attorney is going to almost certainly have you doing patent research. It can be something that you do on your own using the various tools that are available. There are all kinds of books and videos on how to do that. And even going so far as to get a patent application filed as soon as you can, because it's very, very difficult to take concrete steps without imperiling an invention, because you have to be public. You're going to be talking to engineers, overseas manufacturers. You're going to be doing marketing studies. There's just too many things that you need to do that you can't keep it secret. So you need to get a patent filed, and that can be as simple as filing your own provisional. It will give you protection for up to a year, and it allows you to then take all the other steps. So you have to get through that thinking process immediately, and everything should be tied to action as soon as you can possibly arrange it. But even if it's something like talking to an attorney, filing an application, and then you're going to really, as soon as you possibly can, the whole point of all the patent side of things is to get to the point where you can do the real work, which is going to be building an actual working prototype. Ideally, a physical one. You can do it with a virtual prototyping now. There are a lot of great tools to get a physical product soon, and there are of course going to be some cases where that's not possible to have a functioning prototype. But I think especially now with AI and the ability to build apps and code and all kinds of things extremely quickly and easily, I think that you're almost crazy not to get this thing built. And building something is going to be 10 times harder than you'll ever imagine. That's why you need to get to action as soon as you possibly can, because it's going to be way more difficult than you think, and it's going to have a huge impact on the thinking that you do. Because if you have an initial thought to do it a certain way, and then you find out when you actually take action that that's not possible, it's gonna have massive repercussions. It's gonna drive all the other things. And in addition to prototyping, you're also gonna want to get on marketing as soon as you possibly can. You need to find out what the cost of goods is from the manufacturing. You need to find out what the potential retail sales are from the marketing. And then you need to put those numbers together and see if they add up. I would say literally 90% of the new products that I work with, this is the death of them. It's very, very difficult to find new, better products that can be made cheaply enough and sold for a big enough markup. I'm actually working with a client right now on a simple mechanical product that has unbelievable potential, and it's so much better than what's already out there, but it's so expensive to make. And it's already failed in a lot of ways because it's very difficult to find a market that's ever going to work. It's just too expensive. So when I see people that are action-based, that they come in with an idea and then literally the next day they have another thing to report. They've already taken this next step. They've got a working prototype. A lot of the best people come into me with a working prototype. In fact, a lot of times they come into me after they've gone through a dozen prototypes and they've already refined a lot of these things. My really favorite ones are the ones that have immediate marketing and sales background. I mean, if you can get even modest amounts of sales information, literally selling just a handful of people, if they're legitimate sales, not sales to your mom, but if you find someone that will give you money for that physical product, it just makes all the difference in the world. And you're not going to get there by thinking about it. That you just can't fall down that trap of constantly thinking, and you're just going through this process in your mind where you're trying to make the product better, and has to be based on reality, on actions that you're taking.